We want to always start with the prompt. The prompt says, based on the text, what would text 2 say about the interpretation in text 1? So what is the interpretation in text 1? Historians studying the civilization look to ceramic vessels to understand daily life. These sculptures present plants, animals, and faces in precise ways. The vessels representing the human faces are so detailed that scholars have interpreted the facial markings to represent scars and other skin irregularities. They've even used these objects to identify potential skin diseases that may have afflicted people at the time. So this is really focused on the accuracy of the sculptures in question, looking at what text 2 thinks about that. Now, by the way, the prompt was focusing us on the underlined portion, which is that the scholars have interpreted facial markings to represent scars and other skin irregularities, which is the idea of the accuracy. So back over to text 2. This art historian and archaeologist has argued that the interpretation of the vessels as hyper-realistic may inadvertently disregard the creativity of the creators. The vessels, she argues, are artworks where the sculptors could free their imagination, using realistic objects and people as inspiration to explore more abstract concepts. So as opposed to being accurate, here we're being told that they're abstract. In other words, not every detail is literal. So let's look at the answers. Answer A, depiction of human faces are more realistic than depictions of plants and animals. It wasn't about the faces being more realistic than the plants and animals. B, it's likely that some depictions of the faces with extensive markings are intended to portray the same individual. Well, were they all about the same individual? That's not what we saw in text 2. And C, some vessels may have been damaged during their excavation and provide little insight. That definitely was not text 2, so we know it has to be D. Markings on the depictions of the faces are not necessarily intended to portray particular details about the physical appearance of the individuals. That's the idea of them being very abstract. So the answer here is D.